So, okay, looking at what's coming through definitely for you is actually one gifting that showed up in another group. I feel like it showed up maybe in group 2, so it might be worth checking out. But you definitely have the gift of discernment. That is strong and very clear. So the gift of discernment is really... Let's back up, because I do think that your gift of discernment is coming from a slightly different place than it was in group 2, but it is still a gift of discernment nevertheless. I think that what's happening here is that you definitely have the gift of clairaudience, and that ties into your gift of discernment. So we'll kind of like dig into that. Clairaudience is the ability to hear messages. So you hear messages like a voice in your head. Like all of these abilities, it can be a little bit challenging to figure out if the voice that you're hearing is a message or if it's just a thought that you're having. So that might be something that you've struggled with. You might hear things, and this is a way to know that you are getting a message. You might hear a particular number or a name in your head. I think that the messages that you receive are very quick, clear, and to the point. So it might just be like one word or just a couple of words, and it happens really fast. Very straightforward messages. And I think sometimes you don't even know what they mean. Like you might hear the name of someone and you're like, who is that? And so when that happens, just know that that really is a message that you are receiving from spirit, because it is not it's not something you would have come up with. So that's really an indication, and that might be how you discovered that you are clairaudient, because you were hearing things that you wouldn't have just thought in your head, because there would be no reason for you to, because you don't know anybody with that name, or you don't even know what that sentence means. So that's a clear indication that these are messages that you're receiving from spirit. Okay. There's a lot of heart-centered energy in your reading, so I do want to kind of jump to that, if that is a jump. There is just something here pulling me towards the heart center. So you might be somebody who is extremely drawn to the matters of the heart, which can be matters of love. You might just find yourself drawn to the heart chakra, or just feeling like you feel a lot of your energy emanating from your heart. You might feel like you connect with people on a very heart level and a deep level. You might be drawn to colors that are associated with the heart chakra, like pink or green. This inner temple really talks about tuning into the portal of your heart. So yeah, there's a lot of messages coming through for you. And I'm going to do my best to decipher this, because I feel like your reading is not as straightforward as some of the other readings were. Okay, let's move to this Venus card, because Venus is really, Venus is associated with love. So this, again, this is talking about your heart. This is talking about your unique, your heart's unique path. And this also can speak to your creative process. So you might be a very creative person. It doesn't have to be that you're artistic in any way, but there is something creative about you. There's something that you strive to create in this world. And that can be a lot of things. That can have to do with having children. That can have to do with just the work that you do, whether it's seen as artistic or not. But this definitely points to a creative process. And it's really drawing my attention to think about the things that might attract you, or the things that you value, and also how you value yourself. And whenever we talk about valuing ourselves, we talk about how we value others. So that's something to keep in mind. I think too, with this rabbit energy, I'm just going to kind of tell you why this heart energy is coming so strong. This rabbit energy, rabbit's heart beats so super fast. And I think I'm being drawn again to this heart energy. And I am also being drawn to your clairaudient gifting with this rabbit here. Rabbit ears are really kind of a sign to me of clairaudience. And then also the gift of discernment is coming through really strong with the rabbit too. And paired with this heart energy, I think that really where your gift of discernment comes from is having to do with matters, true desires of the heart. You're able to discern true desires of the heart, and I think you're able to discern these for yourself and for others. So this Merry Motive card really talks about kind of getting into the reason that we do things. So that can be also the reason we are drawn to things, the reason we are attracted to things. So I definitely think that you pick up on messages clairaudiently about, is that a word? Through your clairaudience, I think you're able to pick up on messages that really resonate true to you, true to the heart, and true to the heart of other people. So if you are receiving messages and you're not really sure what they mean, really kind of keep that in mind. Is this something that speaks to the true, like the truth of what's in your heart, or the truth of what somebody that is close to you, what's in their heart? Because I think you often receive messages for people who are close to you. Okay. Also, with this Merry Motive card, I am picking up on the fact that you are very gifted when it comes to the magical arts. If this is something you've pursued in the past, then I guess you already know this, or you just know because you've been drawn to magic. But this is actually something that you're really gifted in. I think you're really gifted in directing your energy to bring about a certain outcome. So that's like casting a spell. It can sound a little bit mystical, but that's how we do magic. That's how we do everyday magic, is by directing our energy to get a certain outcome. So you may notice that like you may have already had your attention drawn to what kind of momentum your attention creates. So that can just be like you have already noticed that when you put your attention on something, you're able to change it without making any kind of effort. And that can be in magical and mystical ways, and it can also be in mundane ways. It can be just like things you've noticed in life. Like when I actually put my attention there, this situation changed or cleared up or moved forward the way that I wanted it to. So you may have already had a little bit of an inkling about this. It's basically things that you cause to happen with your mind is really where your ability lies. You're able to cause change with your mind. And I think that when you are really able to do this is when it's a true desire of yours. So that's going back to that heart energy that's coming through really with all three of these cards really strong. When it's a true desire of your heart, you are able to basically perform magical acts, whether you realize it or not. For some of you, you may have also noticed that you are gifted in telepathy. So you are actually able to transmit thoughts to other people. And I think that when you are able to do this the best is when it is something that is very, like a thought that's very strong and something that's really connected to your heart. So this is going back to this heart-centered energy. I think this is an ability that kind of, it feels like it comes and goes for you. It feels like it's a little bit spotty and like you've never been able to really nail it down and really figure out like what's going on for you. And the reason for that is because I think your abilities are really powered up when it comes to the energy being heart-centered, when it comes to being something that's very important and very near and dear to your heart. You are able to transmit thoughts to other people. And I feel like to go back into that that heart-centered energy, I think that it's almost like you're able to do this with people that you're also very connected to. And that might be another reason why it seems spotty, because you don't feel like you can do that with somebody that you don't have a connection with. So this might be like close friends or family. And you might have noticed this in other ways. Like maybe you have the lyrics of a song in your head and then your friend starts singing that same song, or your partner starts singing that same song. Your mom, or whoever you're close to, starts singing the song and you're like, wait, did I sing that out loud? Or like, how are you singing that same song? You actually are able to send those thoughts, like you sent the lyrics to them. And so I think you often get the feeling like you're able to read people's minds, or like that they are reading your mind. And it really is because of your spiritual giftings in this area of telepathy, you are able to do this. I think that it's something you need to work on and practice a little bit, because I think that the way that you're able to do this is with people that you are very close to, and especially about things that are very close to your heart. So it's almost like this deep heart connection that kind of amps up your ability to do that. But you might want to be able to do that in scenarios where you don't have a deep connection with people, so that would require more practice and more honing of the skill. Yeah, definitely with people you love, people you trust, you feel like you can read their mind, and you feel like they're reading your mind sometimes. I think that this "to be fair" card is also kind of drawing me back to this heart-centered energy. I think your heart really wants to connect with other people. Your heart wants that connection to feel like a balanced exchange, and this is really because I think this is your main way of connecting with people. So when you have felt like relationships are unbalanced, it can be really bothersome to you, because you want to connect through that heart center, and you want it to be very balanced, like we have here. See, she's balancing out these scales, so you want that heart-centered energy and that beautiful connection that you share with people to be very balanced. And I can kind of see why, because you share such a close connection that you're actually able to send messages to those that you're close to. So it's important for you to actually connect in a real way to those around you. What else? I feel like that might be, like, I want to look at your tarot cards, but I want to make sure that I covered everything here and that it kind of got through. So, because it was a little bit confusing, to be honest, first looking at this. I'm like, what is going on here? But it's definitely your main gift is in clairaudience. So you really you hear things. And I think for a lot of you, this example of song lyrics is coming through really strong. So it's like, it's repeating. The message is repeating. So it's not just the example of like you had a song in your head and then someone starts singing it out loud, but it's also like, you hear messages that are meant for you or for those who are close to you, and you might hear them in the form of song lyrics. Like they tell the story of like what message needs to be received for that person. So that might be something you didn't realize was happening. You might think that songs just randomly pop into your head, or maybe sometimes you even receive song lyrics and don't know that they're song lyrics. So if you hear a message clearly, look it up, because you might be directed somewhere that can really help give you a more clear message than you were getting. I am getting that for some of you. You've received messages and you don't know what they mean, but really it's because they come from a song. They are lyrics from a song. Okay, so yeah, clairaudient, super magical. Like, I think that what you're able to do just with your mind is kind of amazing, and this gift of telepathy is really, really strong with you. Really strong. So we're going to look at your tarot cards. Your first tarot card is going to tell us why this gift is a blessing to you and to others. And the second card will talk about why this gift is a challenge, or how it can be challenging for you. And then the third card will tell us how you can develop this skill more if you would like to. So let's look at how this is a blessing. So we have the Hierophant. This is number 5. Okay. One thing that's jumping out to me that I think is kind of interesting is Venus actually rules over Taurus and Libra, and the Hierophant, this is Taurus energy. So there is strong Taurus energy coming through here. I think maybe Taurus showed up in another reading. I think group 2. And I feel like that's the second time I told you about group 2. So there really might be a message for you in group 2 as well, because we had Taurus energy there, and I think Taurus energy is coming through strong for you here as well. I think that I think this is really, again, talking about kind of your unique giftings and the unique yearnings of your heart. I think there's also this feeling of like you having the key or you having the answer. Bear with me, this is coming through a little bit muddled. Your whole reading is sort of like that. And so I might be picking up on your energy of like confusion around these giftings, because I think it can get pretty darn confusing for you, like hearing things and not knowing what is your thought, and not knowing if you sent that thought to someone else or if they picked up on it from you. Like, I think it's just a lot of confusion here. But there really is a message of you having the key and you having the answer. And I think what we're getting here is that the heart is the answer. You know the answer in your heart. I don't know if you're looking for an answer, if you're looking for an answer about this. I will say that beyond this message that's coming through about the answer, and that might just be for some of you that are actually questioning something, that are looking for an answer, and it's really coming through as the heart is the answer, so you know it in your heart, and it comes down to your true desires of the heart. But also, the Hierophant coming through as the blessing here is really, I think that you have established yourself, or you are going to establish yourself as a teacher in this more heart-centered approach. So I think that those around you kind of look to you for guidance of how to follow your heart and how to move forward with a heart-centered approach. So this is something that you're kind of establishing yourself as a bit of an expert with, and I think you're going to be able to help a lot of people connect to their own heart and to connect on a heart level as you kind of share your truth and share this ability that you have. Because I think what you have is really discernment when it comes to your true desires and the true desires of other people. So I think you might be able to help people figure out where they want to go, where they truly want to go, like dropping all of the expectations and the requirements and really getting in touch with who they are at a heart level. I think you're gifted when it comes to that, and you might just be exploring that gifting right now for yourself and kind of figuring out how to follow your own heart. As you do that, you're going to establish yourself as an expert kind of in this field, in this area. So that, I mean, yeah, that's great energy, powerful energy. It really makes me feel that you have this more figured out than you think you do. I think all of that confusing energy is like really my indication that you don't think you have this figured out at all. But now we're seeing this, and you're showing up as the teacher. You're showing up as the expert. You're showing up as the person who's like holding the book of knowledge. So you're not as confused as you think you are, and you are going to sort through a lot of that confusion about your gifts. And actually end up being kind of like a leader, being an authority in this regard. So now we'll look at how this gift can be challenging to you. We have the Eight of Emotions showing up in reverse. So this is Eight of Cups energy in reverse. I think the reason that this is a little bit challenging is because of all this heart-centered energy. I think this heart-centered energy causes you to have to be tapped in to your emotions all the time. And that might have been an uncomfortable place for you to be at times, because it can be really raw to be in that emotional place all the time. And I think you also are tapping into the emotions of other people, which can be kind of a challenge of its own. A lot of you may have kind of hidden from your emotions, especially if you have a lot of pain in your past. This might not have been a comfortable place for you to venture at all. I think what's happening here is that you're actually coming back to your emotions, and that's why this Eight of Emotions is showing up in reverse. Because I think that although this might be a part of you that you kind of shoved away because it was very uncomfortable, I think it's like you're now able to reconcile these energies a little bit better, and you're now coming back to tuning in and tapping into your emotions, which really talks about tapping into your heart center, like we've been discussing. So I think really you venturing back to your emotional self and not being afraid of your emotions anymore is what's going to help to turn all of this on. But it's almost like this was a past challenge, or this is a challenge that is going to be a thing of the past, because in the past your challenge was that you didn't want to look at your emotions, and in order to really explore the area that you're gifted in, it's an area you have to look at. So that can be really hard. I think it's hard for you to listen to your intuition, but I do think that this being in reverse means that you're learning how to listen to your intuition. Your intuition is like right in line with your emotions. So if you have your emotions turned off, you probably aren't feeling your most intuitive either. Let's look at how you can develop this ability if you want to. We have the 10 of emotions. So more emotions. This is 10 of Cups energy. 10 of Cups talks about sharing with others. Again, I think group 2 got a similar message in this area. I think that the more you share with people, the more connection you make. It's almost like this is like a completely beneficial arrangement here. You share, you teach people how to connect to their heart, you connect more to your heart, you become more connected because they connected. You know, it's like it keeps building on each other. It's like a snowball effect, or it keeps building on itself. I think it creates a lot of joy for you and for those around you as you share and as you teach people how to do this. And if you don't feel like you're in the position of being a teacher, don't take it so literally. A lot of times we teach people who are close to us just by doing whatever it is that we're doing. So this could be a matter of like, as people see you start to lead with your heart and kind of follow your heart and listen to the intuitive messages that you're receiving and tune in and tap into your natural giftings and abilities, they're just going to be inspired to do that. So you're sort of just a teacher because you paved the way for yourself. This message really here with this 10 of Cups energy is a message to follow your heart and to follow your intuition, which is exactly what this entire reading has been saying. And just knowing that your heart is going to be expanded more and more as you share, and then the clarity about what is driving you and what is true to you in your heart is going to become even stronger. And that just that lights you up even more. It just drives you and it makes you connect with more people. So yeah, it's your reading was probably the most difficult to decipher. I think there's a lot going on here, and that's why. I think that you actually are extremely gifted in a lot of different areas, and you use your giftings a little bit differently than like would be expected. Like you used your clairaudient gifting in a way that's so connected to heart center that like that's totally unique to you. That's not just something that like everybody has going on. So really, really interesting. And I think you're really connected with people because of your gift. Your gifts really have to do with you making connections to people, connecting on a deep level, connecting on a heart level, on a true emotional level. And you use your like your gifts of telepathy and of clairaudience to connect. So there's definitely like a feeling of community here with this. Very, very interesting. I think that's all I have for you. If you enjoyed your reading, please leave me a thumbs up and a comment down below. And if you feel like subscribing, please do. I would love to have you here. I will see you in your next reading. Bye.